Hey everybody, this is Eric and welcome to my channel. On today's video with the GX, we're going to be installing a switch panel and mounting it inside the car. So obviously I've got my Ascend fabrication bumper. I got these wired up to the OE fog light switch, but I've got some lights here and a light bar here. And so in order to hook those up, I bought this Auxbeam 8-gang switch panel. And then from SMK Fabrication, this is the mount. So this will go on the driver's side by my left knee towards the door. It's like a little panel that mounts this. And so, yeah, that's how it's going to go together. So let's open these up, take a look at what we've got, and yeah, we'll talk about this. So opening this up. I went with Auxbeam because did some searching online, saw some reviews, and saw this one was pretty good for the price. You've got all the stickers, you've got an installation kit, and an Auxbeam sticker. Here's the switch panel itself, or this is the fuse panel that goes underneath the hood. This is the switch panel itself. You've got a breaker and then some other stuff. So let's open this up, see what it looks like. So this is the fuse box that goes under the hood. You've got some fuses. You've got 2.5, 210, 220, and 230 amp fuses. So you can hook up a bunch of stuff. This fuse block basically makes sure that you don't fry your panel. So if there's anything, this will pop. You got some heavy duty cable. So this will go from here to the battery and to the fuse block. You got the switch panel itself. So here's the cord. Quality wise, feels pretty good. Here's the other cord that goes from the fuse panel, or from the switch panel. So here, this one connects to here, and the other side, this 4-pin connector goes on this fuse panel. You've got a cover for this if you want to keep it clean. You've got hardware kit. This is for here. This basically connects to power. So this is what helps light up this panel. So this is going to use a fuse tap. You've got some fuse taps included. You got some zip ties, some brackets. And then this actually comes with a swivel bracket that you can install, but that's where I got this. And then if you lift out the whole thing, you've got 2 more brackets. And so this bracket actually fits up in the GX without really having to do any modifications. So I'll show you how that fits up. And then, yeah, this is what I'm going to be installing. So let me put this back in the box, and then I can show you now the SMK Fabrication switch panel mount. So this one, get this opened up. So this is GX specific. So this is like this. The switch panel itself mounts like this, and this whole assembly will mount right up here. So this trim piece gets removed, and this mounts right here. And so I like this because it's kind of tucked out of the way. This cord will go under the dash and through the firewall and stay pretty clean. And yeah, so this is how it's going to go. So this wire that runs from the fuse box under the hood to the switch panel inside the car has got to get routed through the firewall. And so what I'm going to do is, here's the grommet, and there's this little nipple on this top side that I ended up just cutting off to route it through. And so I will route this cable through here and then pull it out under the dash. Now that I'm in the driver's footwell, the dead pedal comes out. There's 2 clips here and here that connect to this and this. Then you've got this little piece, which is a screw-on that goes right here. And then now, this whole piece, there's probably another clip here, but this should be able to come off. And there we go. And then there was a clip on the inside. And then you just pull this rearward. There we go. It's unclipped for back here. And here we go. So that's off. And now I have a ton of room to get to that connection by the firewall. So it's going to be a little tight, but we're going to be able to do it. So if you're struggling to get it through the firewall grommet, here's a trick. Take a zip tie, hook it up to the cable you want to pull through, wrap it in electrical tape. The zip tie is thin and skinny. You can get it through. Reach up under the dash and kind of wiggle it, and it'll pull through. Another thing I did that kind of helped was if it was getting stuck up here, basically where it starts to go through the grommet, I sprayed it with a little bit of Windex just for lubrication, and it really helped slide it through. And now that it's in, super easy to pull through. In the kit, there's this L bracket, which for the GX fits perfectly. So there's a plastic cover piece here. You got to remove that. And this bracket is what helps hold it. And then there's also a 10 millimeter bolt here for the fuse box. So what you can end up doing is this will go here. Let me get a better view angle. So this upper hole goes here, and then this lower hole lines up here, and it perfectly sits there. So I'm going to mount this with some button heads. I think I'm going to use some M6 hardware, and that's what's going to mount it up, and I'll show you what that looks like. The Auxbeam switch panel does come with a hardware kit, but they use like Phillips head screws. I'm not going to do that. I've got these M5 button head bolts, so I will use these instead. And one's just going to go here, which mounts onto this side. I'm just going to use a nylock nut on the bottom. And then this one, I'm just going to put a washer and then use the OE bolt. So here it is bolted up. The bracket on the back, you might have to loosen that. That's a 12 millimeter to adjust this. But the front bolts up using the OE bolt. I'm using an M5 by 16 button head and a nylock nut on the bottom. And yeah, so then the switch panel is just going to mount on top, be able to feed the cable. And then the little fuse block, the breaker, this one. So this is actually, I'm going to mount it on this fuse box, and I still have enough room to remove this fuse box. I can't do it with one hand, I got to unclip it, but yeah, you'll see. So here it is mounted up, again, using the M5 button heads, and when it closes, you can see the hood strut does not even hit. And so I close this fully. The hood strut sits up here on the side, and it's not an issue. One of the things about this switch panel is it uses a fuse tap, but I am already using a fuse tap on the seat heater fuse, which is turned on when the ignition is on. And that one is for my backlight on these fog lights. So what I'm going to do is move the backlight fuse tap to here, which is the headlight low beam. And that will mean when the car is on, the fog light backlight is not on unless the headlight switch is turned on, which I'm okay with. So as soon as I turn on the headlights, low beams or high beams actually with this fuse, they will work, and that will allow me to use this fuse for the seat heater to power the switch panel inside the car, and that way that has power all the time. This is the fuse cover. I have my relay mounted on top of it, and this grommet, I drilled a hole. This is the fuse tap. This is what's going to power the switch panel inside the car. The cable on the right will go to the battery. The cable on the left will go to the positive here, and then the negative, I've got it routed. I'm going to route it here along the back to the negative terminal on the battery. So I'll show you what that looks like once it's all mounted up. Next thing I'll do is install the switch to the SMK bracket. So you can see there's 4 holes. There's holes on the back of here. The kit comes with little button head screws. The cord will go right through the middle, and then once I install this on, I'll go in the car and install this on the dash. On the inside, the trim piece comes out with a trim removal tool. It's 2 little tabs. It comes out pretty easy. Take out these 2 OE bolts, and then the kit comes with 2 button head bolts that you will use to mount the bracket. So yeah, I'll show you what that looks like once it's mounted up. What I had to do is pop this panel off. It's just a clip here and on the other side and on top. If you open up the fuse box area, you can stick your hand in and help unlatch it or use a trim removal tool. I brought up the cable that goes into the engine bay, and so what I'm going to do is this cable goes in this little opening. I will connect it and pull it through. That way when I bolt this up, it'll look absolutely seamless. There won't be a cable hanging down. It'll look super clean. A trick to installing this bracket is install the smaller bolt on this side first, and the larger one is on towards the steering wheel. And this bracket, you can see it's got like a little hook. So once you install this one, it's hard to do with one hand, hook it in. The cable's kind of in the way. Okay, hook it in, slide it to the right towards the steering wheel, and then put the other bolt in, and then tighten this one. This one I might have to back out a little bit, but yeah, that just makes it way easier to install. Okay, everything under the hood is wired up. Moment of truth. So when I put the ignition in and turn the key, turns on. There you go. So this is off. When it's on, all of them light on, and it's off, and it's automatically in the off position. So when you start the car, it doesn't kill the battery. But yeah, here's the finished version. So super clean install. Completely replaces that wood trim. There's a lot of wire here, so I'm gonna wrap this up and tuck it underneath the dash, put all the panels back, and put the stickers on once I start to install lights. So yeah, I'm gonna start reassembling. First piece to put on is this corner piece. There's 2 clips here, and then make sure this lines up, and then this little black screw will go on here. So tighten this, and then after that is on, your dead pedal will just pop into place, and yeah, the interior is wrapped up. We are under the hood, and this is the finished product. So I've got my fuse block here. I'll pop this open, and I've got the relay. So the relay goes from the relay to the positive side of the battery. This one goes to here. This black side goes to the negative on the battery. This one is for the light, the backlight, and then this is for the controller. This backlight one routes under here, and I've got the grommet that goes under here, and it's tapped in with a fuse tap. So if I pop off this, I'll show you what that looks like. Here's the panel for the fuse box taken off. So I've got this fuse tap for my fog lights. This is hooked up to the high beam switch, and this one here is hooked up for the light on the switch panel. And so this goes through the little grommet here and ties into here. And this is my seat heater fuse. So that's how I've got this all hooked up. And for anything that gets hooked up, the wires come in and go here. Like you can see, I've got one thing already hooked up. That's going to be in the next video. This is hooked up to a 20 amp fuse, as you can see. And here's all the fuses. So these are numbered for the switch panel, and that was in the instructions. So in the instructions, you could see this is what the circuits are, and then you can go through here to figure out which one's which. And yeah, so I've got another video that's going to be hooking up some more lights and how to connect them, which fuse to select. And then on the cover, you've got a little puller and some extra fuses. So to pop this on, all I got to do is get it hooked up here on the back side and pop it in place. And it clicks, and there's my final setup. So enough room to the hood strut. I've been driving around like this for a little bit, and it's good. The only thing I might do is put some wire loom on here. Obviously this might chafe a little bit, same here. So I'll try to clean this up a little bit, but overall, this is how the install was. I have some wire loom on here to prevent any chafing. I used 3/8 inch thick wire loom here too. And so, yeah, this was relatively easy install. And obviously they make other aftermarket brackets for this that'll sit in a different way. They make battery tie down ones with like a wider thing so you can mount them, but using what they gave me from the kit, this worked out really well. So this is what it looks like under the hood. And yeah, here is the final product. Got the SMG fabrication bracket on here, my Auxbeam switch panel. I've already got one light wired up, so that's gonna be a different video. And the dash is buttoned up, everything runs underneath, you can't see anything. So I am very, very happy with this. So I'll show you, I'll get into my GX. So here's my driving position. I look down, it's right by my knee. I can hit all the switches if I need to. And yeah, basically here, hit them, not too far away. Very, very happy with this install. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments. Otherwise, subscribe and see you in the next video.